Okay, now I'm sure we've all heard of DNT, Day-Night Technologies, fantastic company. Great company to deal with as well, I can speak from experience on that one. So when DNT got in touch with me and asked me if I wanted to do a review of one of their products on loan for a certain amount of days and send it back, it was a difficult one because I wanted to have a look at it, but I said no. Now I said no because probably 90% of my viewing on YouTube is actually reviews. I love reviews. I watch review channels all the time. I watch people do excellent reviews on all kinds of products. So out of respect, I don't do reviews. And just because of time as well. I don't have time to do reviews. I do a lot of shooting. I come down to the woods a lot. I go to the range a lot. So reviews aren't really something that I wanted to get into. But I did, however, agree that if it became part of my kit and something I was going to use regularly, then it would be something I was happy to talk about and give my enthusiastic novice opinion on. They very kindly agreed that that would be the best. And they said, yeah, can you do that? And I said, yeah, all right, no problem. So they sent me the product. We agreed a price and I agreed to buy it. Now, because of that, I get to say what I want about it, which is good. Unfortunately, what I want to say about it isn't good. There are some positives, so stick around for those if you want those, but I'm just going to jump straight to the negatives to start with. Now, DNT makes some fantastic products, and I'm sure you all know of the Thermite. Put the Thermite over there. I'm sure you all know about the Thermite. I'm sure you all know about the Zulus. Two fantastic products. You can pick them both up, one of them for about £600 and one of them for about £1,000. Now, unfortunately, DNT also make this. This is the Hydra HS225 Thermal Scope. Now, I was in the market for a thermal scope, so I said send it. We agreed a price, as I said, and I've had it for quite a while now. And I have to be completely honest with you, it doesn't tick many boxes for me, and that's why I'm making this video. Just to preface this, by the way, let me just put you down over a minute. I just want to say that DNT, absolutely fantastic. I've made this video before. I made it and it was probably about, well, it was quite a long video. This one isn't going to be as long, but I got in touch with DNT and said, I'm not really comfortable about it. Would you prefer me to send it back? Because I don't have many nice things to say. And they said, we would rather you posted a honest opinion rather than a dishonest review. And if your honest opinion is negative, then go for it. And that stands up quite well for me, because I think it shows a lot of integrity and faith in your company, because we know DNT is good. I just don't rate this thing, and I'll explain why. I'll talk about functions and stuff like that and the positives of it in a minute, but let me just jump straight in by saying this is £800. This is a thermal scope for £800. Now, we all know in the shooting world that thermals are quite expensive. We do know that. But for £800, what do you get? Well, it's billed as being a 3-in-1 unit. It doesn't hold any value as any of those three things, in my opinion. Now, this could be because I'm a novice, but there will be novices wanting to buy one of these. So I think it would be remiss and a little bit dishonest of me to say to go and buy one. If you've got £800 in your pocket, please don't spend it on one of these. I do have my reasons, bear with. It's kind of sounded like I'm going down the really negative route again, but I want to get the negatives out the way to start with, because I think it's only fair. For £800, what you get is a thermal scope, right? Fair enough. But for £1,000, you can have the Thermite. Now, the Thermite, I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but I know it's 225R on the back of it. And this is a 225. So is the Thermite, now don't quote me, I might be wrong, but is the Thermite, that 225R, is it the same thermal technology as this unit? If it is, for an extra £200, you can have this unit as well as a day-night scope with a laser rangefinder for £1,000. So surely that's the most sensible option, right? Not necessarily, because if you don't necessarily need to have thermal, you can have the Zulus version 2 for £600. £600, and that thing is fantastic. In fact, I really wish that I hadn't agreed to buy this and I bought one of these, because it looks bloody brilliant. Now, let me just tell you why this falls on its face for me straight away. Now, picture the scene. I was out on the rats and looking through the eyepiece in the dark through a night vision setup. It was starting to give me a real headache, and I was burning out one eyeball. Even the next day, things were looking different out of one eye. So I figured I did need some sort of a spotter, and a thermal spotter seemed like the legitimate, sensible option, as you can probably agree. When I got sent it, I was so happy with it. And as you can see from this footage now, As soon as I got there, it was daytime, and I was having a look, and you could see the heat signature coming off of the silage, and that's incredible. Look, how good's that? It's picking up all the warm patches on the silage, the warm face of the silage there. I was so excited, I was so happy to have it, and I'm walking around with it, and I've got it in my hand. And first of all, yeah, it comes as three things. The first thing is a thermal monocular, handheld monocular. So I'm walking around with my handheld binocular, and I'm having a look around, and I'm seeing a heat signature for some pigeons. I actually shot a pigeon. There's some footage of me. I didn't get it through this because I was using a different scope, but I shot the pigeon, and it works. And I was like mind blown at how good this thing was. And then it got to later on that evening when it was dark, and I'm standing with my rifle on a stand. It's pitch black. I've waited for the rats to come, right? It was a different rifle. It's my HW100, but I've had to bring this one for me for different reasons. I'll tell you in a second. So I'm looking through my thermal monocular, my handheld thermal monocular. I'm having a look, and I spot some rats, right? That's where this thing became painfully a handheld thermal monocular. Now I need to get this to articulate, which means holding the rifle and undoing the clamp, as you all well know. Where do I put this, by the way, at this point? Where is this going? It's handheld, so they're not lying about that. But there is nowhere to attach a lanyard. There's no way of tying it onto anything. So now it's painfully a handheld monocular. Now for £800, I've got to shove this in my pocket. And anyone who goes hunting knows that your coat is probably filled up with dust and grease and all sorts of other nasty crap in the pockets. So I'm pulling it back out. The next day when I got home, this rubber piece was filled up with straw and dust and other crap and crud. In fact, because of those things is why I haven't sent this back, because it actually has got some marks from being shoved in my pocket. So they probably charge me for it anyway. So now it's in your pocket. You can articulate your rifle. You can have a look around. You can, do all your bits and pieces. But but you can't find them now. Where have they gone? So now I have to clamp that back up again because my thermal monocular isn't in a convenient place for me to just grab. I found that really annoying. I know it's probably a small detail, but it was a big deal for me because the only reason that I wanted one was as a thermal monocular. So at the first hurdle, within the first couple of hours, it had already annoyed me. With that said as well, when you're shoving it in your pocket, this thing on the side, your £800 piece of kit, this little flappy bit on the side when you're shoving it in your pocket or whatever, it just keeps opening. So it's not much of a dust cover because it's only going to pick up dust from in your pocket. As simple as that. So yeah, that annoyed me. That led me on to thinking about the second use for this, or what its billed as being for, is a clip-on, right? Thermal clip-on for an LPVO scope. Now the reason I bought this gun today is because my LPVO scope from CV Life, I thoroughly enjoy it. It's great. I shoot squirrels from 25 meters with it. This scope is absolutely bang on. It's a great LPVO scope and it's perfect for using with the DNT Hydra. Or is it? Now this is another tiny issue, so bear with me, this is very petty. But most people carry Allen keys with them. Not everybody carries the star ones, right? So already, as a clip-on, I've got to remember to bring this one. Slightly annoying, but no big deal, right? Just a minor inconvenience. Not everybody's carrying the star bits with them. The clamp's actually, aside from the stupid-ass star bits, the clamp is actually really good. I really do like the mount, so I'm just going to give it a bit of credit there. So now you've got what, is arguably quite a monstrous setup. But it is a clip-on, and it has clipped on. They're not lying there. But the issue here for me was now this goes into clip-on mode, right? So when you zero that, it zeroes the screen. The screen moves. Rather than moving the reticle, it moves the screen to fit the reticle for the scope. Very clever. Works a charm. Got that zeroed in, no problem whatsoever in clip-on mode. Issue that I had is that there's no zoom on this one, which is quite right, because what's the point in zooming in on this one? You want to use the zoom on your LPVO, right? Makes sense. As soon as you zoom in, what happens? You zoom in on the screen for the Hydra HS225 and you lose all of your menu screen around the outside. So all of the bits that they've taken a lot of effort to put in there, you can't see anyway. So that seemed daft. For me personally, it's not that big a deal. I'm just explaining to you why it might be a problem for you. I wouldn't use it as a clip-on. I didn't really want it as a scope. I wanted it as a spotter. but it does bill it as being a 3-in-1. So as a clip-on, lost a lot of value for me. The third thing is a standalone scope. I don't need to tell you that a standalone scope, literally just a dedicated thermal scope, probably isn't for the best. There was a chance that I may have, if I hadn't been more diligent, shot a dove instead of a pigeon because I couldn't identify properly what it was. So as a standalone scope on its own, I already didn't like it. But if you do want a standalone thermal scope, you mount it up, you zero it in, absolutely no problem. The zoom on it is appalling. You've got 4 buttons on the top. You've got the 4 buttons on the top. The top button is your zoom. The first button, separate from everything else, is your power and standby button. No problem. The button below that is your zoom button. It's a 3 to 12. So you're constantly on 3. You press the button, it's on 4.5. You press it again, you're on 6. You press it again, you're on 9. You press it again, you're on 12. You press it again, it comes back. Ball ache, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know what to tell you. I find that really annoying. When you zoom in as well, loses massive amounts of quality. It's not very good as you zoom it in. You have to play about with it a load more. I didn't rate it as a scope. All in all, the 3 things that it's billed as being for £800, it didn't tick any of those boxes remarkably well for me. The build quality felt great, but the battery compartment is an aluminium doofer, and if you're not careful, you can hear it clicking. It doesn't, you have to be bang on it. Oh, there you go. £800. And I've screwed things in before. You know, I know how to do it. And there you go. So you have to get that bang on right. I think I've got it. So that's annoying. 800 quid. The thing is, they've reduced it from £1,000 to £800. For me personally, the price that I paid was around half of that. I still think that's overpriced, being that you can get the links from Hick Micro for £300, which will operate perfectly well as a handheld monocular. It just will. Now, I've seen loads of reviews on these, and some people are really positive about it. That's why it's taken me so long to make this video, because I've tried so many different things and so many different ways to try to make it work, and I just can't. So for your £800, what are you getting? You're getting, in my opinion, a standalone handheld monocular that you have to hold in your hand, that you can't put anywhere else. There's nowhere for a lanyard, nothing else. So for £800, that's where the value is. That's it. With that said, as a thermal unit, if I'm to be completely fair, absolutely brilliant. It actually does work really, really well. As you can see from these images now, it's a fantastic image. I mean, you can't mistake that. That's definitely a cow. Let's go through a couple of the settings a sec. So now that is white hot. That's bloody good, isn't it? Look at that. I mean, I've used this before, but I haven't used it on a cow. That's black hot. That is incredibly good. And look at the scenery as well. Just look at everything. Look at how good that looks. So that is on red hot. This is the one we all recognise. This looks like Predator. Is that the Predator one? That's iron hot. And there you go. Preferred method is white hot, to be honest. I prefer this one. I find it easier to spot stuff. But look at that. Alright. It isn't all negative. The biggest issue is the price. The biggest issue is for £800, you can do way better. And that's just my honest opinion. So if I'm missing something about the Hydra HS225 that I'm just not getting, please message me or please drop it in the comments and tell me that I've done something wrong or that I'm missing the point, because I just don't get it. Personally, if you've got £800 for one of these, find another 200 and get the Thermite, because it does a lot more. And that's that. I've had this for ages now, so DNT probably aren't going to be very happy, but I had to be honest. The last video was a lot more brutal, by the way. So I'm trying to think of some positives. It is a sturdy unit. It is a sturdy unit, and it is quite adjustable on the focus and stuff like that is pretty good. It's not too heavy, and the mount is fantastic. They are some real positives of it. The battery housing is cheap, and that feels very Thank you. It feels very cheap and tacky. I mean, the fear that that's going to pop out at any second, surely that's not right. But anyway, just as I'm trying to do positives on it, that happens. God. It's my honest opinion. I don't know what else to tell you. So from my perspective as an enthusiastic novice, £800 is way too much for this unit. For an extra couple £100, you can get a unit that's going to do 3 times as many things way more efficiently. So you go and figure out what it is you want to do with it. But if you've got £800 in your pocket, I wouldn't recommend buying one of these. And that's just my honest opinion. With that said, please don't think that I'm speaking ill of DNT in general. I think they are fantastic as a company, and I think to be so open and honest and transparent as to say, release it, tell them the truth, say your honest opinion on it, I think that holds a lot of integrity. That holds a lot of sway for me anyway. So this isn't my usual programming. If you're new to the channel, these are just little bits I'm going to drop in the middle of the week whenever I've got a product that I need to talk about or anything like that. My usual programming is on a Friday at 3 o'clock. I release another video of whatever shenanigans I've been up to through the week in the wonderful world of sub 12 air gunning in the UK. So I hope that was beneficial. This is my not a review, honest opinion of the Hydra HS225. I don't know what else to say. Thank you for watching this video, and come back on Friday to see what I got up to this week. See you in a bit. Cheers, bye.